Hi guys, Mason here. Welcome back to The Sweet Spot, where I create delicious desserts that you guys can follow along with at home. As always, the full written recipe and list of ingredients are listed down below in the description box. Also, while you're down there, if you want to join the family, click that subscribe button and you'll get 2 new videos every week. Alright, for the first episode of this week, we're going to be making a pecan pie cheesecake. You get the deliciousness of a pecan pie and the deliciousness of a New York style cheesecake, which is my favorite dessert. So, if you are interested in that, stick around and we'll get started. For my crust, I just used my recipe for a graham cracker crust, but instead of using regular graham crackers, I used chocolate graham crackers. That can be found in my video s'mores cheesecake, so I'll link that up above. Just click on the eye. Now really the main showstopper of this recipe is the candied pecans that I made on the stovetop. So before we can make those glazed pecans, we're actually going to toast them in our oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to add 1 cup of toasted pecans to our pot, along with a half a cup of granulated sugar, half a tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 tablespoons of water. And we're gonna get that boiling. And once it starts boiling, you're gonna let that boil for 2 to 3 minutes. And you'll start seeing the wetness of the mixture dry out. And that's when you'll add in the last half a tablespoon of water and mix that through vigorously. And you want to transfer these as fast as you can once they get to that point onto a parchment lined surface, and you'll spread them out because they will solidify and the mixture will harden. Alright, now that we've gotten our pecans candied, we're going to make our cheesecake batter. We made a couple of changes to this batter from the s'mores batter that we made earlier in the year. I'm going to use my stand mixer just because it's easier. There's so much cream cheese in this. But it's very important that you leave your cream cheese out for at least an hour before you start to mix it up and to make your cheesecake, because this needs to be very soft. We're going to add 32 ounces of cream cheese. That's 4 blocks of cream cheese to our mixer. And we're gonna turn that on medium speed and let that loosen up, get that cream cheese nice and smooth. Then we're going to add half a cup of sour cream to that and mix those until they're combined. Now we're gonna add in 1 cup of granulated sugar. And you'll mix that until that dissolves. Then we're going to add a pinch of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. 3 large eggs that are at room temperature, 1 at a time, mixing after each addition until they dissolve into the batter. And we're going to mix that until it's completely smooth and combined. Now we're going to take our bowl off of the mixer, and I'm going to mix in those candied pecans that have solidified and cooled. We're gonna mix those in by hand. Now to prepare our cheesecake for baking, we're going to line our 9-inch springform pan with aluminum foil that we baked off our crust in. And you wanna make sure that it is watertight, because we're gonna sit this in a sheet tray and put a water bath around it. So it's very important that there's no leaks, because we want our crust to stay nice and dry. Alright, and after we have our pan ready, we're actually gonna go ahead and dump our mixture in, smooth it out over the top, and then place this in a 325 degree oven for an hour and a half. And after that finishes baking, we're going to open our oven just a little and turn off the heat completely and let it sit in there for an hour. This will help prevent any large cracks from forming down the middle of our cheesecake. Now, after our cheesecake comes out of the oven, we're gonna let it come to room temperature, and then we're going to place our pan into the refrigerator and let it chill for at least 8 hours up to overnight. Again, in a medium-sized pot over medium heat. We're going to add in 2 cups of our pecans that have been toasted, half a cup of unsalted butter that I've cubed up, half a cup of brown sugar that's been packed, 1/4 cup of corn syrup, half a cup of granulated sugar, and after we get everything nice and melted together, we're going to add in half a teaspoon of cinnamon and mix that thoroughly. Now after everything's melted and it starts to boil, we're gonna let this boil for 1 to 2 minutes because you don't want this to set up and harden, so we don't want it to reach that hard ball or a soft crack state. Now we're gonna pull it off of the burner and place it in a bowl on the counter to cool down before we pour this over the top of our cheesecake. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how delicious that looks. The temperature difference, the warm pecans on top with the cold creamy cheesecake underneath is just out of this world. So what'd you guys think? Now what's so wonderful about this is you get 2 recipes in one. You get a delicious creamy New York style cheesecake with this pecan topping when it sets up on top. Oh my Lord. Now you can put this topping on anything, even a regular pie. I think it really conveys that this is a pecan pie in a cheesecake form. You get those same wonderful cinnamon toasted nut flavor, but in a cheesecake with a nice cold creamy texture. You can't beat it. Pecan pies are made year round, but everyone makes pecan pie at Thanksgiving, and it's really been overdone. So this is a nice modern take on a classic recipe. That's all I've got for today, but don't forget to join me on Thursday for another wonderful recipe. From my home to yours. Enjoy.